Hello, welcome back to my DireWolf tutorial series. So in the last episode, I wanted to get into the Modular Powersuits mod, but I did not have any copper. However, I've been running the quarry since then, so I do have plenty of copper right now. So let's see if we can get started with Modular Powersuits. Now, I never used this mod before, so sorry if I do something wrong here. It's going to be a little bit of an experiment for me. Alright, so I've already made 4 of the main pieces of equipment, the helmet, chest plate, leggings, and boots. And if you use the IC2 recipes, and they've got different recipes, there's IC2 recipes, sometimes they use thermal expansion components, sometimes they just have their own stuff. So I have gone ahead and decided to use the IC2 recipes, but we'll see, down the line, maybe it's cheaper to build something in another way. We'll see what we get into. So the helmet, chest plate, leggings, and boots, they're all basically the same crafting pattern used for vanilla armor, only there's some IC2 electronic circuits embedded in here somewhere as part of the recipe. The other thing you need to get started is one of these Power Armor Tinker tables. And the IC2 recipe for that is an emerald, electronic circuit, and a basic machine casing. And as you can see, they also have thermal expansion recipes where they use electrum, machine frames, and redstone transmission coil. But I did use the IC2 recipe, and I've put this table over here. So when you right click on the interface, if you have armor either equipped or in your inventory, it has configurations for all these things. And the mod is called Modular Powersuits. It's not solely about armor. Although it can be armor, it can be a lot of other things too. For instance, if we go to the boots, there's a shock absorber. Basically, this is feather fall. So you add this on here and you won't take as much damage, sometimes no damage when you fall. And it's all very customizable, very adjustable. Now, I also like that it's got a little bit of balance. You see some of these settings over here like weight, 0G. So right now, there's no weight on this suit because I haven't installed any modules. The only thing I've made is the 4 components. So let me go ahead and put them on. Looks kind of cool. If I wanted to make a component or install a component, I would click on one of these things. You can see it tells you what it does. With some servos, springs, and padding, you should be able to negate a portion of fall damage. If I click on this, it'll say what I need to install it. I need wool and servo motors. Now I haven't made anything yet, so I can't actually install this, but we'll get to that in a minute. So the basic part of, any kind of armor is going to be the armor components. And it's got a lot of different armor components for each piece, but they're basically all the same. So for the armor, you have iron plating, diamond plating, energy shields, heat sinks, and apiarist armor. Um, I don't know anything about beekeeping, so we're probably not going to use this last one. And unfortunately, I don't know what the heat sink is for yet, so can't tell you much about that. Hopefully I'll learn more. But the two that I might be interested in right now is diamond plating or energy shields. Diamond plating is, kind of like diamond armor, and you can adjust how thick your plating is, and that's how much weight it adds to your component. I don't know a lot about the weight. What I know is that the more weight you have, the slower you move. I think at what I've heard from different videos is 25 kilograms and you go slower. So if you keep your weight under 25 kilograms, you're good. You go over that, you get slow. But there's some things we can use to counteract that. So diamond plating and iron plating, I believe because of the modularity, the changes you can make to the configuration, they can each take the same amount of damage. It's just the weight that gets used. So if I wanted to build iron plating, I would need one of these basic platings, and I don't know the recipe for any of this stuff. But I think I'm going to make some diamond plating. I think the energy cells are a bit expensive. I haven't looked into it 100% yet, but I think they're a bit expensive. So I think I'll start out with diamond plating and see how we do. Now, there's lots of other things you can plug into these modular power suits. These things are really customizable. So it's a little bit complicated to start off, but I think once we get into it, it'll be a lot easier. So the helmet has energy. A lot of these things are going to use energy. If I use energy shields, it would need energy. A lot of the other things require energy too. So let's see here. Auto feeder, it'll feed you. That's pretty cool. Water electrolyzer, it's a helmet that breathes underwater for you. It zaps the water and gives you air. I don't know if it actually takes the water away or just, tells you it's drawing the oxygen out of the water. Haven't seen that yet, but we'll see. Night vision. I hope that's a little bit better than the night vision we had with the nanosuit armor because that thing was driving me nuts. But we'll get into it. Compass, nice. Clock, you know. I don't know those two things are that useful, but hey, modular. It's very customizable. Pretty cool. Orometer, Thaumcraft stuff. Ugh. Logistics pipe, flight control. Don't know anything about those things yet. For the chest plate, we have a parachute, so you can fall slow. That's pretty cool. A glider, you can fall and you can move forward, so you glide. That's pretty cool too. Jetpack, that's something we definitely want. The dimensional tear generator, I guess it's like a portal gun. I haven't seen it yet. Let's see here. Magnet mode, kind of nice. Active camouflage, so I guess you can make yourself invisible to mobs. Kind of nice also. Looks like there's stuff to get rid of mobs and cool yourself down. Again, I don't know how the heat really affects it. I'll have to get into that later. The leggings has some cool things. It's got an uphill step assist, meaning any blocks that are one high, you can run over them, just like it was a stair block. Sprint assist, so makes you walk and run faster. Jump assist, you can jump higher. And swim boost, you can swim faster. And I already showed you the shock absorbers. So let me go get a few pieces of equipment we'll need to get some of these things. I want to decide what I'm going to build, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I've got a basic idea of the first things I want to play around with. The first thing I wanted to do is get that diamond plating, and diamond plating requires advanced plating. So what's advanced plating? Let's see. Here it is. We need 4 of these. Now you can either use an advanced circuit and 5 diamonds, or Invar gears and 5 iron. Since Invar, we've got more iron and ferrous than we do, copper and everything else we need to make the advanced circuit. I think the thermal expansion recipe is a bit cheaper here. So I'm going to make 4 of these for each plate, for each piece of armor we have. Now I want to make those shock absorbers for my feet. So we need 2 pieces of wool, and we need servo motors. And we actually need 8 servo motors for all the things I want to build, so let's get some servo motors. So I've already taught the system how to make them, so I will go ahead and craft 8 of these, and I'll show you how they're made. Servo motors, and let me see here. I again thought the thermal expansion recipe with the pneumatic servo rather than the electronic circuit was cheaper. So, not 100% sure about that, but I think it is. So, here we go. It needs solenoids, pneumatic servos, and wiring. Solenoids are wiring around a basic machine casing, and I think this IC2 recipe is slightly cheaper than this this just regular recipe. There's more copper used in this recipe with the wiring than there is in this recipe. There's more iron here, more copper here. And iron, seems like there's more iron around than there is copper. So I try to preserve copper where I can. So there is the solenoid, however you pronounce that. All right. And wiring. IC2 recipe would require gold cable. Gold's at a premium, plus we have to use the metal former. No thanks. Copper around silver gets us 8 of those. That's the recipe I chose for this. So there we go. Did it make my... It's missing pneumatic servo. It doesn't know how to make a pneumatic servo. Okay, I thought it did. Let's teach it how to make a pneumatic servo. It needs glass, iron, and redstone. And I want to make sure I use the right kind of glass. Alright. So let me run this down, and you probably can't tell because, it's just a video, but I can tell very much how slowly I am walking in my suit with no sprint assist. But we are shortly about to fix that, so. Okay, so it's making iron plates to make the servo motors. Okay, in the meantime, a lot of this stuff is going to end up using power. So I'm going to build the second level of power battery, and I think it can use power from almost anything, really. In fact, if you see in the top left corner of the screen, it looks like it has power right now, and that's because it can use power from my flux tools and my wireless terminal. It can drain those things. It might be just the wireless terminal, although I think it can drain it from any redstone flux stuff too. But if I don't have a battery in there, I don't keep my suits charged, it will drain whatever I have on me. I'll test to see if it does the redstone flux, but well, here, let's just go put this up somewhere. Can I put it in here? Okay, there's less power now, but not no power. Okay, now there's no power, so yes, it clearly can use redstone flux energy, whatever it comes into contact with. But let's just make it its own battery. So for that, we need an MV capacitor. The MV capacitor is an energy crystal and some wiring. There's a thermal expansion recipe with redstone energy conduits. I don't know, this is just some diamonds and we've got plenty of those, so I went ahead and used this recipe. Make some more wiring. Alright, so it's got my servo motors. What else did I need? That looks like everything on my list for my starting point. So let's go over here. The first thing I want is we'll start the top, work down. Power armor helmet. Each one of these is going to get this diamond plating, which requires the advanced plating. And I don't know if you remember, but before it was red, now it's blue. Now, since it's blue, that means I can install it. And by the way, you can take it off too. So, modular. They plug in, they pull out. It's great. Alright, same thing here. Same thing here. Okay, and if you can see, I've added no weight to the system. And the reason is that I haven't selected any thickness for my plating. If I go over here and make sure I'm on the right setting, the diamond plating, I can choose how much thickness. And if you can see at the bottom above my life meter, my armor plating is going up, as is my weight. I want to be careful and not go above 25. So I don't think we want to slide these all the way up on everything, but I think we can strike a balance. And although it says weight for each piece, I believe the weight is cumulative. So let me see here. That doesn't seem any slower to me, so I'm going to leave it like it is for now. So my armor situation, pretty good. It's not going to use any energy. This is plating, not energy shields. At least that's my current understanding. You can put a battery on almost any of these on any of these components, I don't think it matters. It seems to pull power from wherever it can, so I'm going to put it in the chest plate, and I will install the advanced battery. Got 100 kilojoules of power. That's the basic of it. Let's see here. So we can ramp up the weight. Definitely moving much slower now. I am, let's see here. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 16. Yeah, we only had like 7 more we could put on there. And so I have put too much weight on my system. So by default, we get 8. 6 times 3, 18 plus 8. What is that, 24? Yeah, we are pretty much at our weight limit right now. So we'll see how that works. Okay, I also wanted to add the shock absorbers to my boots, wool, and 2 of those servo motors. And if I crank the power all the way up, the reduction in damage is 100%, but it's going to use more energy. And I can't really read what it's saying over there. That's a little bit unfortunate. I think it's saying either 10 or 100 joules per meter. I think a meter is, a block. So, yeah, we'll see how it works out. All right, for the other stuff I wanted the sprint assist. That's on the legs. The sprint assist. So, let's see here. The walking assist, I can turn up my walking speed. Now that's a lot faster. Notice if I walk, I go this speed. If I sprint, I actually go slower. But we can take up the sprint assist too. So let's see here. That's faster, but my walking assist, I'm not quite sure what it means by compensation. Well, I'll just crank it all up. Oh, wow, that's fast. Okay, that's kind of nice. All right, what else do we have? The uphill assist, where we can climb over blocks. I like that. There we go. Nothing to tinker with here. It's just a very simple thing. So now if I walk up to these blocks, I just walk right over them. I no longer have to jump to go across one block. Wow, I am flying. Okay, that's a bit much. I'm going to turn this down. Okay. Yeah, that feels pretty good to me. So, anyway, you got to play with it. What else do I want? Diamond plating, check. Shock absorbers, check. Uphill assist, sprint assist. Okay, the only other thing that I wanted was the jetpack, which I haven't figured out how to make yet. So, let's see here. Looks like I can store 10,000 energy in that battery. So most of my energy is coming from my tools, it looks like. So, let's see here. I don't quite know what tier means, but let's take this up to... Yeah, I could still move pretty quick at that. Alright. Okay. Yeah, pretty nice. Okay, so there's the start of our system. I need 4 ion thrusters to get this jetpack. So let me go figure out if we can actually get those ion thrusters and see how that will work, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, if we were much earlier in the game, we would not have resources to build this, but we didn't get into this until very late, so we can build ion thrusters no problem really. They are very expensive though. So ion thrusters, and I didn't use this recipe, I used the thermal expansion recipe. I felt it was cheaper with the wiring and N-bar ingots versus an advanced circuit and more solenoids. I thought this was a bit cheaper. So we also need force field emitters, which are, here's the expensive part, ender pearls, advanced circuit, and solenoids. And I thought this was less expensive than the thermal expansion recipe, which was wiring plus a full tesseract frame. Much harder to automate the creation of too. So I went with this recipe for the force field emitters. And then we already know how to make advanced circuits and advanced machine casings from IC2. So I think it should be about done. Okay, it is. So 4 ion thrusters. Go back over here and let's install ourselves a jetpack. There we go. So thrust. Yeah, I'll just crank it up, see what happens. Okay, not bad. Now, since all of our tools are flux, and it can use flux, I really can't imagine us running out of power with this system. You know, we'll just throw our tools into our little charging station, and, well, that was interesting. But, I took no damage. Apparently it thinks I'm cheating. Alright. So... okay, well, that's an interesting problem. Alright, so, well, whatever, I guess we'll deal with it. Huh. Alright, so, I'm not sure I'm loving this jetpack as well, but the one nice thing is, oh, let's go jump off the roof and I'll show you that I take no damage from falling. See? No damage. And it makes that cute little servo noise. Alright, there's one more thing that's very handy about modular power suits, and that's the key bindings. Press K on your keyboard, and you can change the key bindings. So I can make a new key, or I can trash a key. Here are all the things I can turn on and off. I could turn my jetpack on with a key, so if I hit new key and press J for jetpack, I can associate this. See how the little tether's there? Jetpack's off. So now I'm not jetpacking, and now I am. So I can choose with one key to turn my jetpack off. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little less enamored of the jetpack, so... but, hey, there it is, and I've got quite a bit of flight. Still have my IC2 jetpack, so I guess I can use this if I don't like the other one too well. Although I suppose I could look into some of the other stuff instead. What other stuff does it have? It's got parachute mode, which is nice, glider, which is nice. Maybe I'll use one of those instead. Alright, there's more stuff to play with. I'd like to look into the auto feeder, the water electrolyzer, and the night vision. I'd kind of like to see how well that works. If we can go dive into our little, ocean quarry and see if I can see underwater. That would be kind of cool to know. And if I can breathe underwater. Also a nice thing. But I think I will leave that for another time. Well, I don't know. I'll either see you again in a few seconds or next time. Catch you later.